how are you doing? It has been a while since I have made a video on this channel, and I am going to be doing my BookTubeAthon TBR today. If you are not familiar with BookTubeAthon, it is run by the lovely Ariel Bissett. It is in its 5th year, and the idea essentially is that it's a readathon, and you have a few challenges that you need to or have the option to complete, but ultimately you're just trying to read as much as you can over a 7-day period. Ariel and her co-hosts have picked out some really cool challenges for this year, and I'm going to be sharing my picks for those challenges. So one of the challenges is to read 7 books in 7 days. So I have picked out 7 books here that I'm going to try really hard to read to completion over that 7-day period. Wish me luck. So in this collection, I've actually got a mixture of fiction, poetry, and nonfiction. I have a couple of purchases that you might be able to tell are from Shakespeare & Company. I was recently in Paris and I was able to make a bit of a pilgrimage to that infamous store. So one of the books that I'm going to try to read in completion is Erotiques by E.E. Cummings, and this is actually a bilingual version. And I thought that was a pretty apropos purchase to make in Paris at the English language bookstore. In addition to E.E. Cummings, I have Alice Oswald and Dart. And Dart is actually a river. It's an area in England that she wrote poetry about. So I'm really looking forward to that. And one of my other purchases at Shakespeare & Company was the selected poems of Emily Dickinson, and I've read quite a bit of Emily Dickinson's poems before. I just love the rhyming schemes that she uses and a lot of nature that she invokes. The nonfiction book that I'm going to try to get through is Susanna Moody's Roughing It in the Bush. I have heard that this is kind of a dry reading in some areas, and it is such an integral part of Canadian history as well as Ontario history, and I've just been meaning to get to it for a while, so I think it's one that I would be comfortable if I don't totally finish it in the 7 days, but I would like to at least start it soon. And then finally, I've got actually 3 novels of varying lengths. So I've got Virginia Woolf's The Waves, and this is an author that I absolutely love. I've read a number of her essays and nonfiction work, but I've actually never completed any of her fiction. So this is the first sort of step into my full Virginia Woolf appreciation. In addition to The Waves, I want to read Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation. It's a title that we have in our library, and that was one of my personal challenges. I wanted to make sure at least one of the books I was reading for BookTubeAthon was from my library system, because I do work in a library, and this meets that criteria as well. And finally, the last novel, it's a very short novel, and it's called When Jack by Joseph Boyden. So this is hitting my CanLit requirement as well. So another personal challenge for myself was to read Canadian literature. So Susanna Moody is nonfiction Canadian, and this is my fiction choice. So there's a couple of challenges that, in addition to the 7 books that Ariel has presented, so 2 of them I am actually hitting with one stone. So Annihilation is going to be the book to movie adaptation. It's also going to be the book that has green on the cover. So I've been able to check those 2 off. I'm really looking forward to watching the film as well. One of the challenges is to read a book about something you want to do. This could be a fictional book as well, but that's why I chose Susanna Moody's Roughing It in the Bush. I really love the idea of the sort of pioneering spirit of Ontario, and especially the pioneering spirit when it's found and documented in women. Another challenge is to read a book with a beautiful spine, and a lot of these books actually have nice spines, but the way that I've interpreted it is to pick for that particular challenge the selected poems of Emily Dickinson. It's a theme that continues both on the front and back of the book, and the front and back are very beautiful, and I thought it was really elegantly designed how they were able to use elements of the cover and the back on the spine. One of the kind of funny challenges that Ariel picked was that we had to read a book in its entirety wearing a hat, and it has to be the same hat over and over again. And I am actually hoping to get a different hat. I don't have a lot of summer hats. This is the hat that I have. The last challenge is to do with how you actually start the readathon. So which book do you pick? And what Ariel has suggested is that everyone flips a coin. So you pick 2 books out of your 7 or however many books you're hoping to read, and you flip a coin. So one will be heads and one will be tails. So I kind of like the idea of starting either with Dart or with Annihilation. So either a poetry book or the fiction book. So I'll do this on camera. Dart will be heads, Annihilation will be tails. I am using a Canadian nickel. It's got a really beautiful caribou on the front and the queen's head on the back. Okay. Oh boy. And it's heads. Uh-oh. How do I prove this? So that means that I will be starting with Dart, which is pretty exciting. So those are the 7 books and the 7 challenges that I am going to be participating in a couple of days' time. So the readathon starts on July 30th at midnight wherever you are, so don't worry about time zones. I will leave further information in the description below, just in case you haven't already heard or were on the fence about whether or not you wanted to participate. I'd really recommend it. I believe I've done the BookTubeAthon once before, and it really did help me just to get back into reading. I was on vacation earlier this summer, and I have actually only read 5 books to completion in 2018, so I'm really looking forward to reading some books that have been on my shelf for a while and in my periphery and on my mind, and I'm hopeful that I will complete as many books as possible. 7 would be amazing, 6 might be a bit more realistic of a challenge, but we will see. Let me know in the comments below what you think about readathons and whether or not you are going to be participating in the upcoming BookTubeAthon 2018. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!